Welcome to my week in the life as a full-time entrepreneur. This is going to be what I'm calling soft entrepreneurship. I have been seeing that term floating around. I've seen others call it cozy entrepreneurship, and I like both of them. But really, what the gist of it is finding balance in being an entrepreneur. I can never say that word. I feel like it's very difficult. Entrepreneur, you know what I mean. Reflecting on 2024 was my first full year as an entrepreneur. I left my full-time job January 26th of 2024. Technically, that was like my last day, my first full day as fully self-employed. And so I'm actually coming up on my 1-year anniversary, which is really cool and really exciting, but it's also led to a lot of reflecting in just how the last year has gone, what I would do the same, what I want to do differently, and just getting things right for 2025. Something that I feel like I did a lot in 2024 was like full pedal to the metal. And I'm not mad that I did that. I think that that was needed. I don't think that I would have achieved certain results that I have today in my business if I wasn't working on it in that regard. However, I feel like when I went full time in my business, I felt like a little kid in a candy shop where I was just so excited by everything around me and I wanted to try everything around me, if that makes sense. Throughout this entire process, I had a friend share with me, they said that I was a mile wide and an inch deep. And that has stuck with me ever since because it was so accurate to what I felt like I was doing. It felt really chaotic. I feel like with print on demand, this looks like you're trying so many different product types and so many different niches. And that is the epitome of being a mile wide and an inch deep. You're just like all over the place and it feels like you're doing the right things, but you're not really making the right progress. And it just feels chaotic. But I think that I have a good grip on where I can push in my business and where I can also pull back a little bit and find just a better routine. And I think by having a better routine, I'm narrowing my focus. I'm an inch wide, a mile deep. And that is something that I think is going to bring more sustainable and also just cozy, soft entrepreneurship balance. I'm also looking to really work on like my self-care routines and hobbies and interests and things like that because I feel like I lost a lot of that in 2024. So put in the comments your favorite self-care routines, hobbies. One hobby that I have that I also have a goal now with this year is I like to run. Let me take that back. I don't like to run. I run though because I enjoy how I feel after and I like the bragging rights. I'm competitive. So with that, I signed up for a half marathon in September. It's going to be incredible. I'm really excited for it. So that's kind of one of my hobbies, but I want more than that. I want more little things that I can incorporate into my routines. I have a Kindle, so if you have any book recommendations, leave those down below. I am open and wanting to hear all of the things. Also, today literally couldn't be the most perfect, cozy work day because this is my view today. It is actually snowing. This is a big deal because I am in Maryland and we get snow, but this is definitely considered like a significant snow. So I am very happy about that. First thing on the agenda and how I start every single one of my days is submitting the orders for my print on demand shops. I've been finding that this has only been taking me so far in January, like 15 to 20 minutes each day. So let's go ahead and get into that. We are moving and grooving today. All of the orders are submitted. It literally took me like 10 minutes. So I don't know why I'm acting like I just accomplished the world, but now I am going to be sending out and scheduling emails to go out to all of my one-on-one students this month or the next week, not this month. I am scheduling out the one-on-one calls for this week. Yes, brain, this week. This week is jam-packed with calls. I truly love one-on-one calls so much. There's just so much energy that gets brought to them. I love working with others and just kind of setting up like a game plan. I think it's just very empowering time and I really enjoy it. So I'm going to go ahead and schedule out all of these emails so that those individuals can complete the questionnaire and I can get into my prep work for their one-on-one calls. I'm somebody who literally has to talk things out loud when I'm doing a tedious task just to make sure I'm hitting all of the right steps for what I'm trying to do. I used to have to do this so often when I was creating custom listings for my print on demand shop that I was copying in specific SKU numbers for. If you've done it before, if you know, you know. but that's how I feel even doing little things like this with emails. I have to like talk it through. So next, add filter, select filter. We're going to do it for email. Let's put this individual's email in, copy, paste, calculating, save. That looks good. Confirm the call time. I'm gonna save and continue. Schedule this out. Apply. Confirm. Well, bam. All right. So it is a bit later in the day. I finished up setting up those emails. I responded to my community members, one-on-one students, everybody in the PUT connection. I'm about to record the monthly trend report, which is something that I do every single month inside of the PUT connection. It goes through bestseller breakdowns. There's a color roundup. So just kind of emphasizing what color combinations I'm seeing, different product types, keyword research, and showing the whole process truly from A to Z. It is an incredibly valuable tool. And part of it is I also am creating design templates that members in the community can use. And I want to show you this design that I created because I just think it's so cute. Okay, so this is just one part of the inspiration. So we have this listing that's actually from TikTok. Let me zoom in a little bit more too. So this is from TikTok. I like to recognize design components. If you're not familiar with my approach to creating best-selling designs, I'll link that video up above. And then here are some previous designs that I've done research on. They also felt similar to this. And so from there, kind of the process, I pulled additional inspiration from this and then ended up creating this. Now, let me show you where it goes full circle. So the next few slides are the keywords specifically that could be used for this. So I'm going to leave that to the group, but this is two kind of final products for that design style. And I thought these turned out really cute. This one, I love this just little watercolor doodle graphic style. And then this one, I added a little bit of a frame around. And I just absolutely love the way that those turned out. I never considered myself a creative person, but being in this type of industry, I think has just really developed my creativity. And with that being said, if you're feeling like you're not a creative person, but you want to be, creativity 100% can be grown and developed. It's like a muscle. You got to just keep working it. Trust me, if I can become creative, you can become creative as well, my friend. Now, really the last things on my agenda for today is I am going to just finalize this report and record the video. I go through the entire trend report, record it, upload it into the community so that they have it as a resource. And then we actually have our group coaching call in about an hour. So that's the last thing on my agenda for work today. That's a wrap. We are done for the day. How are you? Call number 1 complete. Now getting ready for call number 2. I'm getting text messages and then I have one more call for today. And then we're gonna carry on with the rest of this Tuesday. Here are the beverages on deck getting me through the day. I have this C4, showed this earlier, popsicle cherry flavor, 12 out of 10, amazing. I got a fresh bottle of water because I'm feeling dehydrated as well. And then I have another water. I don't know why I have two, but I just do. I have wrapped up work and now I am having just some much needed me time. Tonight, that looks like diving into one of the learning paths that I just started on Skillshare, who is kindly sponsoring this portion of the video. If you're not familiar with Skillshare, Skillshare is an online platform with thousands of classes. It's something that I've been using since way back in like August, September, and have mentioned them here and there in my videos. But for those who know me and know me well, I am somebody who loves to learn, loves to try new things. And in this season of life where I'm focusing on balance, Skillshare is something that I've really been enjoying. They cover pretty much anything that you could want to dive into, from productivity in business to creative things like design, photography, and honestly, so much more. Tonight, what I'm actually doing is I've been using Notion for quite some time. And if you're not familiar with Notion, it is, what is Notion? How can I describe Notion? How I use Notion, I think, is the best way to describe it. I use Notion for all types of tracking. I use it for creating calendars for myself. I use it for weekly planning. I use it for goal setting. It's a very customizable platform that you can use for tons of different things. How I use it is probably limited to how others have even used Notion, but because there's so much personalization and customizability, that's the word that I'm looking for. It's a little bit of a learning curve. And so with that being said, I've been using Skillshare to sharpen my skills with Notion. Right now I'm working through their learning path called Supercharge Your Productivity with Notion. The first class in this learning path is just Notion for Beginners, which I've been using Notion for some time, but honestly, I'm literally 4 modules in tonight and I feel like I'm already learning something. Right now, I just started this 4th module, which is the lay of the land, which that's what I need. I need to be learning the lay of the land of Notion. But as you can see, it truly breaks everything down step by step. There's tons of modules. I like them because they're just like little bite-sized chunks. I am excited to relax and just chill out in my office tonight, go through this, organize my Notion. I'm very type A, so organizing things is very peaceful to me. And I plan on working on my Notion and just kind of sprucing it up as I'm going through this learning path. So I'm really excited. This is my type of evening. And if you've been wanting to try Skillshare, I'm going to have a link in the description box below. The first 500 individuals who click that link and go ahead and set up their Skillshare account will actually get their first month for free. So if it's something that you've been wanting to try, definitely grab that link below before it runs out. And while you're doing that, I am going to sit right here and relax, enjoy my evening, and enjoy my learning path that I'm walking through on Skillshare. Huge thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this portion of the video. Happy Thursday. Yes, it's Thursday, and you might be wondering, Taylor, what happened to Wednesday? We skipped a day of the week. That is because I, for one, kind of sort of forgot to record some things. Also, kind of sort of didn't think it would be very interesting. So I'm going to just kind of give you a little bit of a recap of what I did yesterday. Yesterday, I started my day with therapy because, as I mentioned at the beginning of this weekly vlog, that I am focusing on balance this year. Part of that balance this year is therapy. So that's how I started my morning. The remainder of my day yesterday was actually another thing that's been on my list for balance in 2025 is outsourcing certain things. At the end of 2024, I actually onboarded an assistant. They helped me with a little bit of email management, which has been absolutely incredibly helpful as I have been growing on social media. My email has also been growing as well. And it's just like one of those tasks that when I wake up and I have a inbox full of unread emails that I need to go through, it immediately feels like a weight on my chest and I'm immediately anxious. So, assistant for emails and therapy. Now, a lot of my outsourcing tasks are more so for my content creator side of my business because that's a very real and big portion of a side of my business. I don't outsource anything print on demand related that I kind of hold very sacred to me. And also, I just can't outsource any of it. I can't have anybody help me with designs. That is my thing. I create my designs. I can't really have anybody help with listings. I don't really want to have anybody help with anything that would require access to my accounts. I've heard of other people doing it before, but I just don't think that that's for me. But by outsourcing some other tasks in the content creator entrepreneur side of my business allows me more time and flexibility to grow more of the print on demand side of my business. And so that's what yesterday was filled of. I had a ton of different calls. I met a lot of really great people. And it was actually really exciting. But I did that. And then after I got through all of those calls, that was something that really took a good chunk of my day. And then I just decided to call it a day and relax. I had a nice little evening with my family. because balance. And now it's Thursday and I'm ready to have a super productive day. I already showered, got myself ready to some extent. My hair is literally still wet. So I'm going to go ahead and finish getting myself ready and we'll head into my office. Another side note, let me just show you a purchase that I still have very mixed feelings about that I made in 2024. And that was the Dyson blow dryer. I love it in terms of doing my hair. It has actually made me motivated to do my hair. For my girls that watch this, this is like, my hair is literally, you can tell it's like starting to air dry, but it's literally still wet. My hair is pin straight. Like I don't straighten it. I don't do anything with it. And so I can let it air dry and it's decent. It's like not the most terrible thing in the world. I don't know. I just feel like when you feel good, you look good, all of the things just leads into a better day, better mindset. And I'm also just so much more productive when I just put a little bit into myself each morning. And this has actually been very motivating to do so because I can use the little like wands and just like add a little bit of something, it's something crazy and it does it so fast. But why I say that this is honestly one of the stupidest things that I've spent money on is because it's so freaking expensive. I do like it, but this thing is really stupid expensive. And I don't know. I know that they have like other dupes. I think Shark makes one that is supposed to be similar. I don't know. I went big. Go big or go home. And I got the Dyson. Nonetheless, I'm going to use it now. Okay, so now the agenda today, I have 2 one-on-one calls and also I have no idea. My calendar knows what I have going on because that is where I brain dump my thoughts so that I don't have to have them take mental space in my actual mind. So let's see what else we have. Okay, so we have 3 one-on-one calls today. I have one at 11, one at 12:15, one at 1:30. And prior to that, I really would love to get done a couple outlines for some upcoming videos that I'm working on. If you ever have any requests for any type of videos, leave them in the comments. I get a lot of my ideas for future videos from the comments, so definitely let a girl know. But I think I'm going to work on that this morning and potentially work on finishing up my mini courses. If you didn't know, I have 3 free mini courses on my website. They might be done when you see this video, or they might still say that they're under construction. But I originally launched them like a year and a half ago, and the original content is still incredibly valuable. There's just a lot more that I wanted to add into them just so that they're like beefier, if that makes sense. Just like a lot more goodness and helpfulness for anybody looking to start a print on demand business. I think that's going to be a good chunk of my day. Those 3 one-on-one calls, working on some video outlines, working on that. I also have to submit orders for my shop. I think I have like 2 or 3 messages right now to also go into Etsy and respond to across my 2 shops. Let me just show you the setup. I feel like I have perfected the work from home setup, at least for me. I know everybody works differently, but it's been something that I have been really honing in on, just making this space feel like me and feel motivating and inspiring. So the vibe that I have created over time, this has been quite the process. This room, fun fact, actually used to be my son's playroom, but I kicked him out. His toys are now in his room. If I actually give you a little tour here, my office, because this used to be my son's playroom, it can measure how tall I am when I first walk in. I have my whiteboard I love to just brain dump on. I recently added these little string lights. These were actually down in my living room from Christmas time. My husband was putting away the Christmas stuff. I was like, no, give me those string lights because I feel like I have a really good purpose for them. Something that was very special to me in 2024 was being able to go to Amplified, which is Printify's huge conference with other print-on-demand sellers and print-on-demand entrepreneurs. It was truly one of the best experiences of my life. So while I was there, I got this Riga license plate. I thought that was super cute. The event is in Riga, Latvia. If you didn't know, Printify's headquarters is in Latvia. And this was the t-shirt from the event. I was really lucky. I got 2 of the t-shirts. So I have one that I can wear and one that I can just keep in my office. Then for my desk, got this desk a while back. It is just a standing desk. I got it on Amazon. I have an Amazon storefront that's linked in the description. Don't feel like you need to like shop my Amazon storefront or anything like that. But if you're ever wondering, I do get questions about my keyboard, my desk, things like that. I do have a little section in it that just shows all of my different office things, as well as this chair. This chair, I've gotten so many questions on. I am somebody who I have to fidget a lot when I'm working, and this has my ability. I can like put my feet here. I can spin this like to the side. So sometimes I'll be sitting, like this. Or sometimes this is really good for posture. This is what I do, which trust the process. I know it looks weird right now. But I'll go like this. Hey, I just think that this is so good for my posture sometimes. It like forces me to kind of be upright. So ergonomically, this setup has been really nice. And then another completely unnecessary investment that I've made is I got this little app. You can see here. It is oh my gosh, why can't I think of what it's called? Oh, a record player. Duh. Okay. Yeah, I have a record player app and it just syncs with Apple Music. It also syncs with Spotify, I think. And I don't know, it's completely unnecessary. It was like a one-time app purchase, I think of like $4.99 or something like that. And I think it just kind of adds to my aesthetic that I have going on. I get my music playing and I sit and I have usually a cute little energy drink. Today's choice of energy drink is the cherry slush Alani New. I thought it'd be fun just to show you my little setup. I like to sit here, have my little energy drink. I have my little blanket. A fun fact about me, when I was younger, I used to race dirt bikes. So like, you win a race and it's a checkered flag print. And I don't know, I just have always loved checkered flag print ever since then. And it's funny because I feel like it recently made a comeback, like checkered print type things have made a comeback. And I liked it before it was cool. So yeah, just saying. Nonetheless, thank you for letting me pause my workday to give you that brief office tour, and let's get back to work. So I'm going through my orders right now, and something that I thought would be really cool for you to hear is, so I have a product that is personalization optional. It's typically just like a very standard product as is. It just has some text on it, very simple design. This is a really great like pro tip for anybody who has a listing that is something that you could see being applicable to other things. So let me give you an example so it makes sense. Say, for example, you have a listing and it's like for a dance teacher. There we go. That's a good example. Say it's for a dance teacher, but somebody might be going into that listing and they're like, oh, well, I specifically teach ballet. Could it be changed to ballet teacher? The listing could be optimized and be for a dance teacher design and product, and then personalization toggled on optional could say, if you would like this to say any other type of teacher with this exact same design style, let us know below. And then that gives people the opportunity to, see it and be like, oh, like I can actually customize this. And that can also help a little bit with conversion. And of course, you don't want to give too many options. So like this has to be done in a very specific way. I don't want anybody to take this and be like, oh my God, I'm going to add this to every single one of my listings. Like I don't do this for every single one of my listings, just where it's applicable. But nonetheless, I have a product that this definitely works really well with. And I have somebody who wrote me a message and they're wanting to change kind of the format of the writing on it. And what I'm taking away from this is, for one, yes, this is a great addition to this listing, having that ability to personalize it. But the second thing that I want to take away from this, that I think you can take away from this also, is when you have customers requesting very specific things, that is better than any research tool that you could ever possibly use. This is data. This is like 100% accurate data as to something that somebody actually wants. When we use research tools, I love research tools, don't get me wrong. They're very helpful, but they are third-party tools and they can only be accurate for like up to, I think it can guarantee up to 80% accuracy. And so it helps you make a more informed, educated guess, essentially, as opposed to just winging it, which there's absolutely some strategy behind that and having a little bit of the analytics to help drive your decisions. But hearing from your customer, getting the voice of the customer, there's nothing better than that. And so my takeaway here is that I'm actually going to go ahead and create a separate listing that basically is taking their feedback on kind of how they want to modify the design and tweak it, duplicate the listing over in Printify. So I'm going to be still using like the same title and tags and things like that of this listing, but I'm going to modify the design to really mirror and match what this individual is requesting in the differences in the design and some of the verbiage that they're wanting the text to say. It'll still be applicable to the duplicated listing that I'm going to push over, and we'll see how it does. It's going to be a fun little test. I think that's honestly one of the biggest things that's helped my business is treating everything literally like a test, not having always direct clarity and like, oh, this is the way, this is what's going to work, but instead just going in with such an open mind of like, okay, I'm going to try this and it's either not going to work and I'm going to learn from it, or it's going to work and I'm still going to learn from it. Both ways get me still closer to the direction that I want to go. Yeah, now granted, it does sting a little when it doesn't work. It does feel frustrating. I can completely understand that, as opposed to, when you get the win and you get the sale, you get, positive interactions on the listing, that obviously feels a lot better. But nonetheless, it's definitely fun to treat it like an experiment, try new things. And I always find that I am surprised by the things that end up actually working compared to the things that I thought would work and then didn't at all. I kind of put together a summary of how I interpreted your notes. So if it's okay with you, I like to start off these calls by sharing my interpretation of your summary, making sure that I'm in alignment and understanding with what your goals and focuses are so that we can meet in the middle and make it just super actionable and give you an exact plan for where to focus and what opportunities to start with. By far, one of the coolest things about my job is that just this week alone, I have talked to individuals from pretty much all over the world. I had a call with one of my students who's in Australia. I just got off a call with one of my students from Spain. Of course, I have tons of US-based students as well. I just think that is the wildest thing in the world to think that here I am in little old Maryland and I get to work with and connect with people that literally are in completely different countries. Makes me realize I could be somewhere a lot cooler, but nonetheless, it is really cool that I get to meet other people. They're getting ready for their evening. I'm getting ready for my lunch. All of my Australian students, most of the time I'm talking to them when it's evening or nighttime for me and then early morning for them, or kind of vice versa. And I just think that that is the coolest thing about what I get to do. Also, during that last call, I had my coworker come join me. Yeah, talking to you. Say hi. I'm Breck. I'm very needy and I like to hang out. Hey, Breck, come here. Come here. Oh my goodness. This is my lap dog. Oh my gosh. They always say dogs have the cleanest mouths, and my dogs 100% lick my face, but it always just disturbs me a little bit because I also see them licking each other's butts. Yeah, I don't know how you feel about that, bub. What I would do to be this dog for a day and just hang out. Anyway, back to work.
Oh, it's actually like recording?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Boop, boop, boop.
I'm vlogging.
Nice, I love that.
exhibit B as to why I still think the Dyson was a stupid decision, but also I'm not mad at it because this just literally took me 5 minutes. Besides that, though, I have gone ahead and just kind of outlined my morning. I submitted my orders. Now I have another call filled heavy day. Normally, I don't actually get on this many calls in a week. This has been jam packed, but it is primarily because last week my community, the PUD connection, the doors reopened, and a lot of the one-on-one members in the community are also doing one-on-one coaching calls. And so this week has been packed with those calls, as well as on Wednesday when I was on some calls looking for some additional team members to help with some of the behind the scenes business shenanigans. So today's another call filled day. In my previous day in the life video that I shared, I mentioned in that video that just truly no weeks, no days look the same. This is a very good example of that. This week hasn't been extremely print on demand heavy, and it fluctuates like that. That's just kind of how my business has evolved. Most of my print on demand related tasks this week have been just submitting orders and responding to customer messages. And that's honestly kind of the beauty of print on demand and why I seriously love it as one of my income streams, because it can become a lot more passive when you need it to. Now, with that being said, after having put in the time and work to build those businesses, and then they become a little bit more sustainable on their own, they're not so volatile in the sense of like they can just blow up at any sense and not really be doing anything. So that's been really nice this week in allowing me to work on some other things that I'm passionate about. And I have my first one-on-one call at 9 today. So that's coming up in the next 20 minutes. That first call is an hour. The second call that I'm getting on is at 10:30. That is just a 30-minute one-on-one call. And then I have two other calls today that are completely unrelated. The first is working with somebody to kind of help with my website. I have done my website all on my own. That's one of the very interesting things about entrepreneurship is I have learned that I wear so many hats. I am, for my print on demand business, I am the customer service, I am the designer, I am the product creator, I am, in the sense of like creating the listing on Etsy. I'm not actually making products, print on demand, but I have to do a lot of different things there and I wear a lot of hats there. And then other parts of my business, I have my website and I have to learn how to make a website and edit things. And just there's a lot of things that go into having a business and being an entrepreneur. And so this year we know is about balance for me. And a lot of that balance is coming into outsourcing certain things. And while I can kind of give my website its own refresh, it's just very time consuming. And I think it would be a great idea to get another opinion. So I have a call with an individual who I am looking to help assist with that. And then the second call that I have later in the day, I am virtually hanging out with a friend. That is the other beauty of entrepreneurship. I meet people who are also entrepreneurs from all over, and it makes it a little bit tricky in the friendship department because I meet people who don't live next door. And so we just hop on calls and hang out that way, which is still super fun. So it's going to be a really good day. I am going to share as much as I think is interesting. I don't want to bore you, but if you enjoy this, if you think this is interesting, definitely let me know. I sometimes have felt a little silly this week with this video because I'm like, do people really care like seeing this behind the scenes? But then I also think from like my perspective, I love watching videos like this. I love seeing just what people do as entrepreneurs in their day-to-day routine. Like, how do they manage their time? What do they do Monday through Friday? Do they have a certain system? And, I think it's fascinating. So if you find it fascinating too, definitely let me know and I'll do more videos of this style. All in all, happy Friday. It's a great day to have a great day. No matter what day you might be watching it, I hope you have a fabulous day, whatever you are doing in this very moment. And let's go ahead and get my day really going now. Good evening. It is now much later in the day. I didn't record a ton of today because, as I mentioned earlier, today was just really a lot of calls and kind of boring to record. But I do want to end this on what I think will be an interesting and fun note. I want to share with you just a quick little snapshot of how my print on demand businesses have done in the last week and kind of give a glimpse of what they're able to do for me income stream wise, while I do have weeks that are less focused on creating new listings and building into those shops and just the maintenance type of weeks where I'm submitting orders and answering messages, which is what I feel like this week was. One of the things that I really love about print on demand is just how flexible it can be. It is very resilient in the sense that when you're pouring into it, you definitely can see a lot of growth when you're consistent and showing up consistently in the business. But when you do take that time away, I find that you don't necessarily see a lot of dips or anything like that. At least that's been in my experience after having put in a lot of time. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't something that was just overnight. I always like to be very clear on that. But once you do put in that time, it can allow you to step away. All right, so I'm screen recording. You'll see that right here. But my more established shop, my first shop that I ever started, it's a little over 2 years old in the last week. So this is for the last 7 days. So it's not really just like Monday to Friday like this video has been, but nonetheless, you get the gist. The last 7 days, this shop has brought in $2,655 in revenue with 133 orders. You can also see here just kind of how that translates to views and visits. This is a shop that definitely has a lot higher of a conversion rate than like industry normal. Generally, I'm seeing this shop currently, it's been sitting a little over 5% in terms of conversion rate. So that's actually something that I'm very proud of. Now, when it comes to what I actually profit of this with this week, if I actually take a peek now over here in Profit Tree, this is just a quick little tool to see your net profit in your business or your print on demand business specifically. And I am calculating here that my net profit is about $849 in this shop. Now, if we go over to my other shop, let me log into that really quick. Okay, so here we have shop 2, and this is actually my newer shop. And this shop, I'm very pleasantly surprised how it's kind of continuing on into January. In the last week, this shop has brought in $6,992 in revenue. That's about 350 orders, and you can see the views and visits here with this as well. This shop still has a decent conversion rate, but not as high as the first shop. This shop is typically been sitting around like a 3% conversion rate. And in terms of profit for this, if I go to Profit Tree, so Profit Tree is calculating my net profit to be $2,020. So altogether, between both of the shops, that's a little under $10,000 in total revenue. I'll have the specific amount here just because I don't feel like trying to do the math right here, but I'll do the math when I'm editing. But if I do add up the profit, just I still have Profit Tree opened up, that actually equates to $2,870-ish in profit. So relatively passive. As you saw this week, really my only maintenance tasks were submitting orders and responding to customer messages, but that is not to push aside the hours of work and years that I've put into the first shop and then the months that I've put into the second shop that have really built them to be at a point where I can see that level of profit without necessarily doing a ton of active work in them. If print on demand is something that you're getting started with or you're kind of in the thick of it, just remember that the early stages, that is where you're often trading a lot of time, not necessarily for the return yet. You're not necessarily seeing the money in return for that time when you're first starting out. That's completely normal, and it does shift with time as long as you stay consistent. Most people quit before it gets too good. And so I just want to leave you with a little positive thought. Don't get discouraged. Keep pushing. Your next listing truly could be the one that changes the trajectory of your print on demand business. Of course, also, if you are somebody who is starting a print on demand business, which I'm assuming that most people who are watching my videos are interested in print on demand, I'll have linked in the description all of my free resources, trainings, guides, must-have tools, all of that good information for you, all of my favorite stuff that's really helped me in my print on demand business. You'll see that in the description box below, so be sure to check that out. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more videos like this. And as always, I hope that you are having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.